In this video, I'll generate 30 real estate social media posts, a full month of content across 5 categories, in about 20 minutes using ChatGPT. Varied topics, varied formats, captions and hashtags ready to drop into a scheduling tool. This is literally the most requested workflow I've been asked about. I've gotten probably 40 DMs asking for this specific system. Here's exactly how it works. Before we start, quick disclaimer. This is a productivity demo, not professional advice. The data on screen is fictional. Real estate rules vary by country and state. Check your broker and local regulations before using any of this with real clients. Some tool links are affiliate. Full disclosure in the description. Now, the workflow. Social media for real estate agents is a classic case of knowing what you should be doing and not being able to sustain it. Every agent knows consistent posting builds visibility, builds trust, and keeps you top of mind. But here's the reality of how social media content usually gets made. You post something when you close a deal, you share a listing photo when you have something new, and occasionally you have a burst of inspiration where you post 3 things in a row and then go dark for 2 weeks. The problem isn't discipline. It's that creating 30 distinct pieces of content that are educational, varied, on-brand, and actually worth someone's time is a significant creative workload. 6 hours a month if you do it properly. Most agents either pay a content agency, which is expensive and often generic, or they batch it manually every Sunday afternoon, which is exhausting. This workflow takes it from 6 hours to 20 minutes. And the key step that makes it actually work is the audience and tone setup. Without it, the posts are completely generic. Let me show you. Opening ChatGPT. New conversation. Step 1 is the context setup. This is the most important part of the whole workflow. Before I show you the context setup that works, let me show you what generic looks like. I'll ask for 30 posts without any audience or tone setup. There it is. 30 posts that could have been written by any agent anywhere in the country about any market. The key to buying a home is knowing your budget. Thank you for that insight. The content has no voice, no specific angle, no sense of who it's for. It's the content equivalent of a beige waiting room. You could post it, no one would unfollow you, but no one would feel like they know you either. And that's the entire point of social media for agents. The audience context step changes everything. New conversation. The context setup prompt. I'll read this out as I type it. This one is worth copying. ChatGPT confirmed the context. Now the big generation prompt. I'll add one note before I send. I usually add one more iteration pass after this where I ask it to punch up the hooks on the best posts. That adds maybe 5 more minutes, but I find it worth it. More on that in a second. Okay, we have our 30 posts. Let me walk through a few examples. First, the market education category, post 1. If you've been watching the news and wondering if the real estate market is about to crash, let me show you what the data I'm actually seeing suggests. That's a solid carousel hook. It's addressing a real anxiety without taking a political position on market direction. It earns the swipe. The myth-busting post number 3, you need 20% down. You've probably heard this. It's not true for most buyers. Clean, direct, myth-stated then busted format. That's a high engagement post structure. The behind-the-scenes one, what I did between 8 a.m. and noon today, 14 emails, 2 showing feedback calls, 1 pricing conversation, and 0 coffee breaks. The part of the job nobody puts on Instagram. That one will always get engagement because it's honest. Agents love sharing it. Buyers learn something real. Now the hook punching step. I'll pick the second market education post. The hook feels a little flat to me. Here's the follow-up prompt. Now, one of the 30 posts is a market education piece that I want to use for LinkedIn as well. LinkedIn audience is different. Slightly older, slightly more data-focused, less casual. Let me reformat one post. Now I'm going to copy the full output and paste it into my content calendar spreadsheet. The format I use is simple. Date, platform, category, format, caption, hashtags, status. I assign 1 post per day across the month and mark the format so I know what to create for each. The AI generated the copy. I still have to make the visuals, but that's Canva in 15 minutes, not copywriting. Last step, I'll show you the buffer scheduling side briefly. I'm not going to deep dive buffer in this video. It's straightforward. You connect your Instagram and LinkedIn accounts, create a queue, paste your caption, attach your image, set the time. Here I'm scheduling 2 posts, 1 Instagram carousel for Monday morning and 1 LinkedIn post for Wednesday mid-morning, both from the content we just generated. Before I move on, an important note. AI-generated content should always go through a human review pass before it's posted. Do not auto-publish without reading it. You're checking for 3 things. Accuracy. Did it claim anything about your market you can't back up? Tone. Does it sound like you, or like a robot trying to sound like you? And compliance. Anything that needs a fair housing review if it's about a listing or neighborhood. The 30 posts we generated are conceptual and educational, so the compliance check here is lighter. But the accuracy and tone check is always on you. Here's what we built in 20 minutes. 30 posts across 5 categories: market education, process explainers, myth-busting, neighborhood, behind the scenes. Every post has a format assigned, a caption under 150 words, and 5 hashtags. 2 platform versions for the LinkedIn posts, a content calendar spreadsheet ready to populate with dates, and 2 posts already queued in Buffer. The manual alternative: 6 or more hours of writing, probably some Sunday afternoons you don't get back, and output that's either exhausting to sustain or inconsistent enough to undermine the whole point of showing up on social media. This workflow makes consistency possible, and consistency is the whole game on social. Next month, open a new ChatGPT conversation, run the same context setup, and run the generation prompt again. Change any categories you want to rotate in. In 10 minutes, you have a new 30 posts. After 3 months, you have a 90-post library that you can recycle with light edits. The system compounds. The full context setup prompt and the 30-post generation prompt are in the description. Copy them, fill in your market and audience details, and run it this afternoon. The prompt pack for real estate agents includes a content calendar template pre-formatted for this workflow and a variation library for seasonal content. Link in the description. Subscribe for the next workflow. We're posting every week. And drop a comment with which category you'd add if you were building your own version of this.